What's good, everybody? Well, today's another automotive repair tip, and this one's about sandwich bags. Recently, I did a kind of a big job on a Mazda 626, pulling the cylinder head off, and that required taking apart a lot of shit. So as I was taking stuff apart, I was putting all the fasteners for them into sandwich bags and labeling what the hell they went to. So let's take a look at what I had. I hope this shit doesn't just blow everywhere. Timing cover, motor mount, EGR tube, exhaust, water pump. I think this was the intake, valve cover, power steering stuff, the little splash shield, the air filter snorkel and stuff, and then the head had like a water outlet thing that had some fasteners and stuff on that. That's where they went. Now see, if I had just kept taking all the fasteners and just throwing them into a box, you know what I mean, when it came time to put everything back together, that shit would have sucked, because I can't remember where the fuck 165 fasteners goes. You know, having them all labeled made putting everything back together a breeze. See, sometimes when you do stuff like that, you might have like two bolts that are pretty much the same, but one might be like a cunt hair longer than the other one. So if you put the wrong bolt into the timing cover, by the time you got to the valve cover, you'd have one that just would not bottom out. It wouldn't fully tighten down. And then you'd be like, well, fuck. And sometimes finding the right fasteners can be a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's like something retarded like M7 with a 1.75 pitch or something retarded like that. So, you know, taking the time to mark down where everything goes, you know, is a real time saver. So yeah, maybe the topic is sandwich bags, and yeah, you do need some fucking masking tape and a Sharpie, whatever. But the best thing about doing it this way is that there are no leftover fasteners. Because people do that shit. People bring shit into my work that they took apart and put back together, and they have a whole bunch of bolts left over. Here's a picture of a Grand Cherokee that came in. And the guy said, look, I just took the dash out, I did some work, and there was a cup holder full of fasteners. And you know, people will bring that shit in like we automatically know where the fuck everything goes. Yeah, it's not that easy. And even the service information won't tell you what bolt goes what in the where now. It's just not written like that. It's up to you, the person taking it apart, to know where the fuck everything goes. I'll just be guessing just as much as that guy was. How the fuck do I know? Yeah, okay, maybe if it's something you've done a million times before, you know, like you work at a dealership and do the same cars every day, like I used to do, yeah, well then maybe you could say, oh yeah, that's the bolt for the fucking infinite fucking baffle, you know? Now you might be thinking, yo, Mayo 3, how the fuck don't you know where all those fasteners go? Well, before I took that Mazda engine apart, I took the whole interior out of my pickup truck. Let's go over here. I took the interior out of this truck. I'm doing some like odds and ends and like, you know, sound deadening and a little stereo system or whatever, but I've got a lot of shit apart. The doors are apart, all the trim panels. I even had the headliner and shit out. When it comes time to put this thing back together, passenger door, boom. Quarter panel, boom. Driver's door, boom. Door sills, boom. Extra shit that broke the fuck off when I was taking it apart for the door panels and the trim pieces, boom. I didn't label these because, I mean, it's, to me, I've done this truck a couple times. I'm familiar with where these go. When I had all the fasteners for like whatever, you know, was taken apart to get the headliner out, I had those marked. The seatbelt bolts, I had them marked. All the coins I found, I didn't mark them because it's kind of fucking obvious what's in there. But yeah, there's no guesswork. So here I've got something taken apart here, and then I get pulled off of that and do something else and take something else the fuck apart. So everything's marked. I'm not going to have a problem putting this whole truck back together whenever that time may come. That's what technicians encounter a lot. You might take apart one car, have to wait 10 fucking days for parts, then you're, in the meantime, you've taken apart so much fucking shit, then you come back and it's like, well fuck, where the fuck did all this shit go? But that's not all. While I had this whole fucking truck taken apart and I had the Mazda engine all taken apart, something else happened. Yeah, while all that shit was going on, the fucking steering linkage to my lawnmower broke. Well, guess what? I fucking bagged and tagged those fasteners too, so whenever the fuck I find parts for this, boom. Well, the point of the video was made, sandwich bags, bagging and tagging, fasteners, and all that happy crap. But like all my other videos, there's other shit I want to talk about. You know, I've worked with some real fucking douchebags over the years as a technician. You know, some of these guys would see me doing stuff like bagging and tagging fasteners, and they'd have to run their fucking mouths like, what's the matter, can't remember how the car goes back together? As if my ability to remember where 165 fasteners goes somehow correlates to my mechanical abilities. And you know, most of the time, these were the same fucking guys that start off every story about what they did the night before with how many beers they drank or how much weed they smoked. Well, here's something for you guys. When you talk about how many beers you drank or how much weed you smoked, that correlates to how big of a fucking tool you are, because nobody gives a fuck. In a lot of cases, these are the same guys that might come up to me and say, hey, can you give me a hand with this on some kind of electrical problem? You know, I don't go, what's the matter, you can't remember the fundamentals of 12-volt electronics? No, I give them a fucking hand. I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to do with coworkers? I guess. So yeah, I did a pretty big job on a Mazda, but I didn't videotape it for a couple reasons. Well, number one, I'm not a Mazda channel. Number two, it was for a guy who really needed the car, so I didn't have time to dick off and film everything. And number three, that wouldn't have been realistic video. You know, it's one thing for me to show you pulling the gas tank out of a Trailblazer and replacing the fuel pump. That's cool, that's do it yourself. But when it comes to like putting an engine back together, no. Because when it came to putting the timing belt back on this fucking car, I had a ratchet on this with a socket on the crank bolt, and I was holding that motherfucker with my crotch to keep the crank from turning. My right hand was on a wrench holding the exhaust sprocket bolt, and my left hand was holding another wrench on the intake sprocket bolt while fucking maneuvering the timing belt around. Let's not do it yourself. Especially on some cars that have interference engines where if you get the timing wrong, you're gonna fuck shit up, you know what I mean? But I do have a little clip of something cool that I found when I started taking apart more stuff on this engine, particularly the thermostat housing. You gotta check this out. The owner of this vehicle had a cooling leak and decided to pour a lot of stop leak into it. Oh, yeah. Sweet. Alright, well, I picked up a few subscribers since my last two videos, which is cool. I appreciate that shit, but I have to reiterate a few things. I don't answer car questions on YouTube. These videos are for the do-it-yourself people, and I encourage anyone who has car questions, at least for the Trailblazers, Envoys, Chevy trucks, and all that shit, to find me over at gmtnation.com. You know, I volunteer some of my time over there helping people with their rides, but you're also in a community of about 4,000 people. People that have actually probably seen your fucking problem before and will give you a hand. The GMT Nation site, contrary to rumors, I don't own it. I don't get paid for doing anything there. You know, it's not a pay site. You don't have to pay for privileged additional information. And you don't have to pay for stupid fucking DVDs. It's not profit oriented. It's for enthusiasts. That's why I recommend them. Better than another fucking site. You know what I mean? If you do go there, don't fucking sign up and send me a run-on sentence that's about 2 fucking screen links full of shit about your problem. I'm just going to delete it. But what I encourage you to do is to start a thread on the forum. And if you want me to chime in, then send me a private message. And chances are I will reply to that. You know what I mean? And it's true, I will. Alright, so coming up, well, there's a lot of shit I got. I got like 4 or 5 videos already made. I just have to edit them, which takes fucking forever, but they will get on here. I've got like a Chevy pickup PO147. I got Trailblazer console, remove, replace, and repair. The Trailblazer PCM replacement. The Trailblazer security relearn. And guess what? I even disconnect the battery on a fucking Trailblazer. Holy fucking shit. So, you're into this kind of stuff, you're into Trailblazer Envoys, do-it-yourself repairs, a lot of automotive talk, subscribe, because I got a lot more shit coming. I've got 40 videos on the schedule. If you like what you see, well, subscribe to my shit.
Passengers?
Yeah, I took off one of the passengers.
I said passengers.